Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another Traders Community podcast. Welcome to all investors out there, the traders and the punters and the dribblers. We had a bit of a bounce today. We have the glorious Madavi here and the hot meta, Johnny, hanging out there. Remember, not financial advice. We're just going through what we saw, a few ideas, what's going around the desks. We're going to look at the red hot inflation numbers, PPI, the highest ever, following the highest CPI yesterday of 40 years. The market is taking the view that it's a peak, even though the Fed, Brainard's had two shots at smashing the market, you'd suggest. Waller was another one today. We had a good reversal. Oil has bounced all the way back to 104, so $12 above the lows from that SBR stuff. Natural gas is trading over $7, so it's been a great break and run on that one. So hopefully people got on that. That is the highest, I believe, since 2014. So without further ado, let's get into it, and we'll talk a little bit about bonds, and of course there's some big earnings today. So let's start off. We are at 104 WTI, natural gas 704. The SPX 4,445. Nasdaq back over 1,400 at 14,2020. Vol came right off today. The Vol X 2290 got and that was high as 25 during the session. So a big change. And the Russell flipped back over 2,000. You saw a lot of running again in the punter stocks. So let's look at the SPOOs first. Pretty straightforward. It has been following technically very nicely. Again, look what it held. That weekly tank and just above the clouds. So pretty clinical stuff there. And we have closed just over the Cajun. We go to the daily. Look what we held again. Perfect. This is not mad. And the beautiful thing with this, you can look ahead to where it should hold or not. So basically your calls are real cheap when you buy them here, right? Puts are real cheap when you're buying them there. Think about it that way. So you held the Cajun right around 6.8, and we managed to get back over that 50, which is an important little number that we watch. So basically the only trade there today was buying off that, and we pretty well were able to stay in that all day. It was real slow and steady. Not a big range. It was pretty well just straight up after that number. It was a replica of yesterday in the sense of buying on inflation, but you didn't have someone like Lyle Brainard to ruin the party. We also had big earnings out today. JP Morgan was a standout, of course, and Delta. Delta was the one the boys liked that took all the airlines up. Okay, let's have a quick look at Nasdaq. And let's bring Madavi on. That's his little baby. You can see it's basically been a triple bottom or a reverse head and shoulders. Anything on the Nasdaq?
Oh, right? Believe it or not, Nasdaq just ripped up straight. And I didn't even do one NQ trade today. And, on days like this, sometimes I don't do that well. So I try to stay away from it when I don't understand something that's really happening.
Yeah, it's a good decision, traders.
Mostly with stocks today.
Yeah, there was some good stock plays today, and it has been all week off these levels. And there's obviously liquidity in the market, even though it's the end of... I have to struggle to think when the market's been that bearish this quickly and this pronounced. I think it's a lot to do with the sharing of information so easy these days, and opinions are just opinions rather than professional.
So I don't know about bearish. I mean, we're right back almost near highs, 12% off.
Well, that's the crazy thing, right? That's what I was getting to. Where usually when people are this negative, we're way down the low. We're basically, what did you say? 200 points or something? 400 points?
12%, I think. I think it might be.
Yeah, so that's the whole thing. It's all, and it's been like this for a few years. Some would argue since 2008. Those that missed the crash, and then we had to keep wanting to get the crash. I think that's more that. But in reality, these interest rates are high. Inflation's off the charts. We talked about Freon yesterday, and you know. So we know all that. But if the markets... Madavi made a good point about 3 months ago. There's already been severe bear markets. And we look at the dribbler stocks, some of those just are destroyed, right? So it depends. And this market's being held up by particularly defensive stocks and your energy stocks, obviously. Another big day on energy stocks. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into energy. We had a good roundup yesterday on all the macro effects, currencies. If you didn't do that, do yourself a favour, see it. Go listen to that and watch it. So this is what we're talking about. This was one of those great trades, if I have to say so myself. We busted 480 and we haven't looked back. These are big points for those that trade Natgas. And it took a lot of similar stocks up that are related. The small one was SWN, of course, but all the drilling, P10s, the EQTs, the Exxons, the FANGs. And don't forget oil's 104 at the same point. So very clinical. We're right. We hit our target, remember, plus 2.8. So it needs to recalc. So let's look at, this is daily. Let's look at weekly. So remember what it broke, right? This is a beast. And it's a question, let's hope, if you're a consumer, let's hope that your user, i.e. your electrical company, power company, hedged the little bugger, right? So let's see. So let's have a look at where we are on a Murray. So this is massive. We're a little bit overbought. We're plus 2.8. But we're coming from minus 4.8, right? So remember your rules. So that actually puts the recalc, right? This puts this at 8.8. Does that make sense? So actually, I put it at 7.8 actually. So you can see very clinical. This is vertical. And look what Natty does on a change of weather. So be wary of that. Okay. If you are a dribbler, don't go near this. If you're a punter, be very aware. If you're an investor, or at least a traders community or Nova investor, you are already in this. So run it as much as you can. Use your optionality, etc. Okay, let's go on to oil. So oil, we're going to look at the daily first. So we got back over this is extraordinary like in the fact how perfect the double bottom was. And the same political thing that was done here was done down here, i.e. SPR and all that, right? Now, if we were to draw a flat bottom triangle, i.e. that's your base, that would be your bear case, would break it, and you draw your line there. So we're testing the angle. I should just draw a line, right? Line. So you can see what we broke, right? Beautiful, really. And here's our flat bottom triangle, right? So this can evolve more, but you can see what's going on here. We went right to the Cajun, but you can see the break here on the daily. And it's just what's incredible with this run, and it's more a reflection of how thin the market and players are gone and all these news bombs. Just how there's so much broken noise in the market. So it's not for the faint-hearted, that's for sure. And there is a war going on. So you can see the double bottom here on the weekly. So your bull is 1, 2, 3. This becomes a 4 or an A. And that is a 3. And we're going a lot higher. That's your ultimate bull. If it's complete, This is just an 1, 2, 3 of something larger coming down a test here. Pretty straightforward, as we said. Let's have a quick look at commodities. So we mentioned this yesterday. Silver breaking up. It continued on that today. Look at that. Nice little punt there. That's the real punters in the commodity world. They love that one. Gold. We mentioned yesterday how it was holding up well with the US dollar. The US dollar actually on the index, we're not going to go through all the variables, but on the index, it actually hit a new high today and then pulled back under 100. So there you can see that. Nice. Copper had a little bit of how's your father today. Gave all that little move back. Remember, that's trades a lot with corn, still up there. Soybeans trying to break. Not much changes, so it's going through and quick. Interesting, aluminum. Alcoa closed under the tank. And let's see if it's a spit. It's notorious. See all that? So what's that tomorrow? Wheat. Remember, we mentioned all that stuff with Lebanon, etc. And we've dribbled up nearly $1 on that index now. So a good move. Here is everyone's favorite, punters. This is the ultimate punter, GME. Remember, it had that big move, 204. It's basically gone sideways after that initial reaction. Is this some kind of massive bull flag? Possible, or do we simply just break down? So, real easy. Okay, stocks. So let's have a look at bonds first. So, bonds. We've had 2 monster red hot inflation numbers. So look what's happened. Since then, the 10 years come back because we get so far ahead of itself, right? It's a very deep market. So is this an ABC to go higher or is there more correction? We don't have much out now, but we do have a ton of earnings start. So they started today, got a lot of banks and stuff out after today. Okay, let's look at Apple. Is that updated? So you can see we're actually at 170, so I probably got to reboot Apple. I didn't reboot these before we went online with these. So we actually got above this double bottom here on Apple. The one we traded a lot today, I thought I put it on here. Yeah, VERU. Remember, we traded that the other day. And you can see what it's done. So yesterday, is this showing yesterday? Oh, yeah, it is. So look at this move. So it corrected all day, and then exploded. So these are, what's interesting with these, you're not suggesting if you're an investor to jump on these, but this is the first time for a long time we've seen one of these news plays. This is a COVID biotech. It's a long time since we've seen this kind of power play, right? Hold, don't you agree, mate? So that's been a good one. Conversely, so here's another one to look at. Want to look at real quick? Tesla. So Tesla, like Apple's, a good trading vehicle. It's really deep, and you can trade your options, but it trades great off things like pennants and Murray and stuff like that. So look at this. This is a 30-minute chart. You can see what it broke this pennant. 1, 2, 3. Comes out another pennant, breaks a pennant. This one failed, but not too much, and then we broke it up again. So look, in a lot of things you trade, always keep looking at that ABC. I think we covered anything you want to chuck on, mate?
No. I mean, this market is crazy. I mean, yesterday is weak, today is whatever. Just hard to sometimes get your head around it. Best thing to do is trade it.
Right, exactly, because it's up one day, down the next. It's got to break a trend, and that's what all that. That's why we say look at ABCs. You're trying to work out if it's a continuation pattern or a corrective pattern. So just a quick look. Johnny is tied up, but let's look at our Bitcoins, etc. We went through them yesterday. Remember, the Ethereum is much stronger. It bounced off Tenkan and rallied. the Bitcoin's much weaker. And you can see today we pulled up a little bit here. So 60 minutes, and there's your weeklies. I think that's it. We just wanted to come in real quick. We got a slew of earnings tomorrow. Jump on the website. You'll get all this about... whoops, that didn't work. What happened there? Market wrap. There we go. So, for those not familiar, this is where this YouTube video will go. You've got all the closes here: oil, natural gas, the weather reports, the basic things. Tomorrow you got a natural gas report, so you need to look at that. You got your close of the dollar, futures, silver, Bitcoin, where we are on the day for the 4 major US indexes, where we close in Europe, where we close in Asia, a bond market wrap, and all the news there overnight. USA, Europe, and so pretty impressive, I think. Lots there. So as far as inflation, we had New Zealand raise their rates last night, and Canada raised their rates today, 0.5 basis point. You can read those later. What was I about to show? So yes, we had, if you recall yesterday, we had a shocking auction. It was an F. You don't get many Fs in Treasuries. But we don't get many inflations this much out of control. So we had a 30-year today, had a high yield of 28115. It was rated a B- by the desk. It was much better than the 3 and the 10 past 2 week. There's all the details there. Jump on. We had the oil today. So we had basically a massive build. So those who are not familiar with oil, it's real bearish while oil's going up. But you also had a big draw in the products, which is gasoline and distillate. Go through there. There's all your details. And then tomorrow, go familiar yourself with Into the Vortex. This is what's been going on in natural gas the past week and what to expect. So that's been a red hot number. Okay, more earnings tomorrow. The other banks, do yourself a favour, just jump on and check out what's on. That's pretty well it from me. We'll finish with a little bit of natural gas fire. Make sure you like us. Go through and listen to the other podcasts. If you like, you might learn the different stuff that we watch for technically, market psychology and stuff. Please subscribe and share it to your other friends, traders, investors, and punters who may find it useful. Probably not the dribblers. They're just going to sit and critique and, I can do that better. Anyway, good stuff. Easter's coming up, so the market's going to be very thin. Remember, Good Friday and Friday, Easter Monday. Many places are closed for those days. Options expire tomorrow as a result. Have you probably noticed? I believe the market's open on, but not the options. Could be wrong. But do yourself a favour. So it's Friday. Eat your fish. Get your wine. What else, mate? Anything else for the punters? So we'll see you. Love you and leave you. And thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll see if we can dig Johnny out. We're not sure where he is. He might be over with his crazy neighbour, Helmet.